Good Monday morning. I am MPJ and you are watching FunFunFunction. You are watching part 3 of the Let's Code an Editor series, where we code an editor. Or, well, a fiddle, really. There's really no need to watch the previous episodes in order to understand this one. You can really just jump in straight away, we're just having fun. But if you do want to watch them from the beginning, there is a link to the playlist up there and in the episode description. If you have followed FunFunFunction for a while, you know that I am a tooling alcoholic. And this project is me going on a spree. Not only am I in this series building a tool, an editor, no, I am inside of the tool building another tool, a messaging bus, in order to make this project easier to unit test. That's what we did last week. It is this messaging bus that we stick in between our dependencies that we need to mock input from and our code on the other side. I've had this messaging bus in the project for a little while, but it was written merely as a consequence of the test, so it doesn't really have any test itself, and it's a bit wild grown. So last week we rewrote it from scratch using test first principles. Since the last episode I have added some more functionality to it, so I think it's ready to try to integrate into the app in replacement of the old bus. So that is what we're gonna do today. I'm not sure what to call that in order to make it good and clickbaity. I was thinking of masturbatory refactoring because that is, let's be honest, what we're doing here. But that might give people the idea that this episode is more exciting than it really is. So I'm thinking that I'm going to call it... okay. Roflcopter refactoring! My worst title yet! Ow. Oh. Alright, so let's get this train wreck going. Let's run the test, npm test. No fun. Run all. Okay, all passed. What we're gonna do is that we're gonna walk through module by module and replace the old bus in that module with the new bus. And when I say module, I'm just using developer Weasel words. Oh, I have to talk about this for a little while because it's my favorite new thing. Let me... Weasel words. Weasel words is actually a term that Wikipedia coined, or at least that's where I heard it first. It's one of the ways that Wikipedia articles can be flagged. In the same way that like an article lacks citations, it can also contain a lot of weasel words. And weasel words are terms that sound like they mean anything and seem important and specific, but actually mean nothing at all. Weasel words, they add a sense of authority to whatever you're saying without you actually having to say anything. So the example would be to say that some people say that weasel words are great. Sounds like you made a factual statement, but you didn't really because you didn't specify some. When I first heard this term, I was elated because I had finally found a word for something that had been frustrating me for a very long time. In development, the #1 worst fucking weasel word that I know of is enterprise. So people might say that in enterprise programming you cannot do this, or use terms like enterprise grade. Do you know what enterprise is synonymous with? Business. Everybody does enterprise grade programming. Programming professionally is enterprise grade. Oh yeah, words can make me so mad. But there's also weasel words used purely in programming. And one of my favorite weasel words is module. Another developer weasel word that I see a lot is manager. Helper is another one. There are words in computer science that actually mean something because they have a definition, such as observer, state machine, or facade. But helper, manager, and module are just fancy ways of saying thing. When you see an application with a bunch of managers, then the developer that wrote the application just had no idea what it is that they were writing, no idea what patterns they were or what to call them. So they used a word that kind of seemed like it was not just an afterthought of a word. I've been thinking about like writing a linter that prevents you from using these things. If something is just a thing and you don't know what it is yet, just call it a thing. Anyway, that's a tangent. I have these modules that I'm trying to find a good name for because they do follow the same pattern. I currently call them effects because in the sense of side effects, they are when a function is causing something else to happen that is just not part of its input and output, it's not a pure function, then it will call another function and it will cause a side effect. And that is mostly what these things are. But it doesn't quite fit, so I will be renaming it later, probably to handlers, in the sense that they handle messages, perhaps message handlers. Either way, we're going to be replacing the bus in them one by one. And we're gonna begin with the test that we wrote in the first episode, the delete segment. Delete segment command, and it also has an add segment command that was there when we started. So I'm really just gonna get into it. So first of all, we have this describe common. Let me talk about what that is. Describe common is just a function that creates a describe, like in the same, like a Jest or Mocha describe. And this is what it looks like. I have some comment here, refactor this to be more modular. I'm using it. Well, maybe module actually does have some kind of description, because module means like separate thing. But like everything in an application is a separate thing, so maybe it doesn't mean anything at all. Maybe I'm guilty of doing this here. What do you think? Like, do you think that module fits the description of a Weasel word, or do you think that module actually means something in programming? Right? Comment. Anyway, the describe command here, you see that it just creates a describe, and it then just calls this body function, which is this thing that we're passing in, and the body function gets this getBus function, which will have get the bus instance that we create in this description block, because we can't in JavaScript we can't really pass the reference to this one. We're creating a new one on every loop. So in order for this closure here to work, it needs to be a function. It also does a couple of other things. It has this thing. It has this observe href, which is something that I generalized into describe common because I anticipated it to be used everywhere. Observe href callback is basically a way for the application to observe what URL or location the browser is pointing at, so it can react accordingly. And I just figured this is something that we would be using everywhere, so I moved it up into this describe common as a test helper in order to make every test simpler. And that was me breaking my own cardinal rule of like seeing duplication like a good number of times before generalizing. But I figured that I would be clever here and try to predict the future. And of course I failed, because this is only used in one single place. This really dumb generalization. Never generalize until you see a bunch of duplication. Golden rule. Secondly, it also does this. It starts listening to unhandled rejection and uncaught exceptions. And this is because if you don't catch a rejection from a promise, that will just be swallowed in Node. or more specifically in node versions older than 7. In 7, they actually start printing this to the console. So, and since I'm running these on node 7, this is completely unnecessary. So what I'm saying here is that we like the need for this generalization, this describe common here, it's just unnecessary. We can remove it, replace it with a normal describe, and I can just do a new variable here for bus and go, how do you create a bus? Going to remove this. We no longer have this, and we are going to import the new bus, and it exports the default that it exports is create the function called create bus, and I get that from parent directory, and it's in busig because that's what we're calling our create bus. And we're going to do this. So it's going to create a bus equals create bus. Gonna remove this, and now I believe things are gonna start failing. Only one so far. It's getting a bit confused here because Mocha normally expects a done parameter here. Bim. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Get bus is not defined. Now, because we've removed the describe common, which gave us the get bus function, so we're gonna replace that with bus, and no longer calling this reply because, yeah, reply was a bit weird. Like handle was a lot more descriptive to what it actually did. So this is a new syntax, and otherwise it's the same. I was kind of content with the API as it was, so I didn't change it much. Bus handle, Firebase set, and this bus dot send. We're still calling it send. It's the same thing, and we're calling this bus dot handle. And we're calling this, okay, this is new. We are, it's no longer called assert message. It is instead called expect, and it has the same syntax or syntax structure as the send method. So it first takes the topic, and then it takes the options object, or the message. Message is what we call them. You send a message on the bus on a topic. And if you missed the previous episodes, these are just strings, but set in constants. Okay, so don't know why it's not running automatically. I should probably restart my computer. Anyway, okay, we're getting some error messages here. Give and delete comma. You know what? I'm gonna focus on this one. I can do F it, focus it, and it will run only that. Dip. No, it didn't. Why didn't this work? Or did it? No. Yes. No. Oh, it is this. It is actually the same test. It's just two errors on each one. So okay, let's see here. Cannot read property find of undefined, and let's see busig line 32. No. Oh, okay, it's inside the bus. Let's take a look inside the bus on line 32. Wow. Okay, cannot read property find of undefined. Okay, so this is because we are trying to send a message on a topic that doesn't have any handlers. And the bus does not handle that. Like it, or well, it kind of does. It just breaks, but it would be nice to have a pretty error message for that, because we want the bus, like one of the main points of me spending so laborious amounts of time with this bus is that I want this thing to assist me and constantly give me error messages as I go along, and they should be helpful, not like this one, obscure. I want it to be sort of hate-driven development where I constantly get an error message that kind of tells me what to do. Error, fix it, error, fix it, error, fix it. Anyway, so let's implement this on the bus. Blee, 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 blee. Where should I put this? Here are some errors related to throwing if arguments are wrong. It throws an error if no handler exists on topic. And an error. There. All right, cool. So how do we do that? Let's first set up. Okay, let's say that we are calling bus.send and we're calling the topic that does not exist. And we're sending just an empty message. Doesn't matter what. Let me just run this one and not, yeah, let me remove this bit here. So we can focus. What do we get? Yeah, okay, no, stop it. I don't want you to run that thing. I want you to run this thing. Save, run. Why are you so... Let me rerun this. Jest, what are you doing to me? Why are you so disappointing? You should only be running this. P, filter by pattern. I'm gonna pussy. Does that force you to... Okay, cool. Yeah, I have to... Okay. I'm making a lot of sounds. All right, it fails the way we want it to fail, but it should just fail prettier. We want this, so expect DDD function to throw error. Yeah, there. No, there. And we want that to say something nice, such as did not find a handler for topic that does not exist, like that. Okay, I'm gonna remove the sidebar for a bit there and run the tests. Okay, it expected the function to throw an error matching blah 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 blah, but it got the error that it doesn't find. Okay, let's go to the bus code and locate the error, or like locate where we are messing up. So it was messing up on line 32. Yeah, but there was a space, empty row here for some reason. Empty row, empty line. We have to extract this out first to make sense of this. And we're gonna extract this out into a constant called handlers on topic. Like that. And then we're gonna do if handlers on topic dot length equals 0. We're gonna... Okay, I do have this ergonomic keyboard. It is amazing. It's a Microsoft Scope. It's one of the best ergonomic keyboards that money can buy, and it has genuinely fixed my arm pains. I did a bunch of stuff, but I put my stock in that it was this that did it. But the keys are in slightly different locations than I'm used to, and it makes it hard to type the curly brackets, and I'm still not getting used to it, even though it's been months. Where was I? Yeah, sometimes I just type when I get stuck in the hopes that it makes me remember where I was. Okay, yeah, I want to throw an error. Throw new error. And what was it? It was this thing. I'm just gonna copy it from here. Because I want to, and it should not have backslashes. Does that work? Yes. No. Oh, okay. Yeah. Because this will not be an array even. It will be totally undefined. Totally undefined. Ooh. Would that make a good ghost novel story title? Totally undefined? Ooh. No, it would not. Anyway, this will be undefined because when we do set up the handlers, they will actually create the array here. So this will be undefined if there is no handler. So I'm just gonna remove this and if they don't exist, no handlers on topic exist. It's going to throw. Does that make sense? No, wait. Oh no, it's back on reporting the delete segment. Jest, you suck at watching. I guess that it only focuses, like when I do a focus, it only focuses on a test inside that file. It still runs all the other things, but that is not what I want. That's not what I intuitively want. Okay, so now it succeeds. But as you might have noticed, I hard-coded this value in here. Now, I'm going to teach you that there are two schools of thoughts when it comes to unit testing or driving TDD. Either you are a triangulating person or you are a remove duplication person. The remove duplication person will simply fix this and go and do a handlers on topic here. Now we'll write topic here, just remove the duplication and regex. So now we're passing, or you could triangulate and like if you triangulate, you would simply add another test here and do the exact same thing, but like do topic that does not exist too, in order to ensure that the test covers all cases. It kind of treats the code as hostile. I used to be a triangulating person because it feels good. You know, you write a lot of tests. And it also feels like you're adding a lot of security. But in practice, I found that it really didn't catch a lot of errors. Like, I mean, I won't deny that I could just have forgotten to remove that duplication there, but that is not a subtle bug. It would just have when I ran it in production, and I would have found the error. And when somebody is changing my code around later, like my future self, it's just not the kind of bug that I would introduce. So in my experience, your mileage may vary. You should try both ways and see which ones you like. But in my experience, triangulation does not really add any benefit. You just write a lot of tests. It feels emotionally good, but in practice, it's waste, I think. Personally, don't kill me. So let's go back to the original tests here and run all. Now I actually do want to see these bastards. Okay. Did not find a handler for topic commands delete segment. Oh yeah, it's because we don't actually install the handlers. So the way these handlers work is that they have an install function. and they are given a bus. Let me just briefly show it. You're gonna see it later. So it gets this bus, and then it takes these the reply and send functions on it, and it just attaches these handlers. So reply is the old name for handle, and I forgot to add that. So let's see what happens if I run it now. Okay, still nothing. Okay. Oh, we get a new error here. So Jest like gives you the errors in the order that they happened. Like, why doesn't it just stop after these? I'm not sure why. I wish it just stopped and just gave me this. But either way, reply. Does anybody know why Jest continues executing after it hits the first error? Can I somehow get it to stop once it hits this first error? Anyway, reply is not a function. As I said before, if you look at this install, the reply handler, like this is now called handle, and that's the only change. So I'm just gonna call it handle, but we also have to call this handle. Bloop. And I think that's the only change we need to do there. And we also need to change this to handle. That looks okay. Kind of good. Here I have this thing, this any string, which is, I'm not sure if this is a good idea. I have it's inspired by Eve, kind of. It's a message pattern matching thing. So it will only get messages if it has a method that is of type string. My idea with this is to add a tiny bit of safety to this so that you can be sure that when this executes that this will actually be of a certain type and exist. And it also gives a bit of documentation, because it shows you here, it shows you what arguments to expect and what they will be. But in practice, I'm not sure if this is actually helping anyone. So the new bus does, for now, it doesn't have this type filtering. So this is just an empty object and a function, and like that. And in the same way, we remove this, remove that. I'm gonna beep beep, flurp, and yeah, that's all the replies replaced. And there's no anywhere. I can remove that any reference, and let's run it again and see what happens. Whoopsie daisy. Oh, hello. What happens? Add segment, add segment, add segment. Okay, cool. There's a bunch of add segment problems, but we don't care about those right now. I just want to focus. I'm gonna refocus on this test. Bus is not a function. Install.test.js on line 31. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because it was get bus a function before, and now it's just a variable, and I accidentally forgot to remove the parentheses. Okay. See, run it again. See what happens. Whoa. Expected to see Firebase set. You can see here now that we're seeing this that I talked about before. Node in version 7 now gives these unhandled promise rejection warnings. Before, these were just swallowed up and silent, and that was super annoying. So that is why I had those catchers in describe comment before, but I don't need them anymore. Kind of though. It says type error cannot read property of undefined, but it's not being particularly helpful. It's not giving me any stack trace or anything, the bastard. So maybe it was a good idea to keep those there anyway. Why can't you? This is not helpful. Duh. Node. Does anybody know if you can get these rejection warnings to be more verbose by default? Is there a configuration option in Node? Or do I actually have to do this thing where I listen to the unhandled rejection of the process and log it out there? But anyway, perhaps we can figure it out. Cannot read playbook of undefined. Where is the playbook? Playbook. Where might that exist? So maybe it could be this one or it could be this one. No, it can only be this one because we're just looking at delete segment for now. So, okay, segment data is undefined. So that means undefined, that is because it comes, the undefined value comes from this send Firebase get. So perhaps our Firebase get here is incorrect. So my intent here is that the Firebase get should, given this path, it should return a promise that resolves into this object here. But in practice, it is resolving to undefined. Interesting. Let's first see what this send actually returns. Does it return a promise at all? Let's const promise equals send promise, and I'm gonna do a console.log promise. Bedip frop running this. Okay, what happens? Console what? Promise undefined. No, it returns undefined. Perhaps I haven't implemented this yet. Perhaps we haven't gotten that far yet. Let's see. No, I don't think we do. We haven't gotten that far. Let's see. Let's implement that. Because this messaging bus, it's not a pub sub pattern, it's a request response. So if the handler returns something, we want that to be passed as the return value to whatever called send. So it passes on return value from handler. Let me show you. We want this behavior. So given bus.send your topic, and we just send whatever, and we want the return value to be some const, and let's say that we just called some value. No, bus.handle, and that should handle your topic. Given that, and given an empty filter, because we want it to handle all calls to your topic. Given that, it should pass that to a handler, which doesn't care about what it gets in, and it's going to return. It's going to return just some value, and we then should expect the return value to be your topic. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, we still have the same problem, of course, because we have not implemented it yet. Let me filter to just have the basic file. There we go. Expected your value to be your topic. No. I want it to be some value. All right, sorry about that. Running it again. I don't have to press A for all tests. I could just press O to run only the files that have like related to the change. That's convenient. But either way, let's jump into Buzzig and actually implement this. Send yes. And here's the only change that we need to make. Return, I think. Yes. Okay, cool. That is it. Now we can go back to the test that we were working on before. Let me just remove the focus test here. Where am I? Oh, here, let me remove the promise as well. I have no idea where I'm going now. I'm super confused. Okay, I think that actually made everything pass. Running everything. Okay, cool. Now I can move this back to there. Then womp. Cool. Okay, so now this handler here, the commands handler that handles delete segment messages or messages on the delete segment topic and on the add segment topic and their corresponding tests have now been migrated to the new bus successfully. We found some shortcomings with the bus as we did that and we corrected them, but in the end that was pretty smooth. When we're doing this kind of refactoring, and where we have verified that the code works and we're changing the tests, the code kind of verifies the tests, which is kind of cool. Oh, hang on a bit. We have a fit left. Let's remove that. We're probably gonna get some errors. Yeah. Okay, we have not dealt with add segment yet. So we have migrated add segment to the new syntax, but not the tests of add segment. So let's do that. But get bus, it doesn't get the bus anymore. It's create bus. It still has install works the same way. Reply does not work the same way. It's called handle. And it also always needs a filter. And same way here, we need to reply handle. This looks fine. This also looks fine. Send syntax has not changed between the old and the new version of the bus. This has changed, and we also need to pass an empty filter. To be honest, I wanted to always have the filter here because I wanted consistency in the handle syntax, but I'm kind of starting to have second thoughts because I'm seeing a lot of these empty handlers. We'll see. Bus assert message we want, that's nowadays called expect, and the first argument is the topic. It's a much better syntax. I'm really happy about that. And it's called bus expect here, and it takes the topic as the first argument, the message as the second, and we run all the tests and see what happens. Perhaps it's green. It is green. Even though all the tests are green, the application is now as a whole broken because we have one part of the application, one module, using the new bus and the rest of the application using the old bus, and that this will of course break even though the unit tests still work because all the unit tests depend on the bus for communication. Unit tests are amazing. You must have unit tests in your application, but you also need a few integration tests to torpedo through the application and test that all the components work together. I have a video on unit tests versus integration tests. You should check that out. But when you're writing an application, start with the unit tests because unit tests is extremely hard to add later in your application, because otherwise we will be writing your application in a way that makes it hard to test, because your code will be jumbled together and not neatly separated like it needs to be in order to write unit tests. Integration test is something that you generally can add later in your development cycle, but I still think that you should have both in place before you release the first version of your app. So we will be writing integration tests for this thing, not today. But as I said, this application is now in a broken state. So we're gonna commit, but we're gonna commit as like a work in progress. If I was working in a team, I would probably create a branch for this. You know, let's create a branch. Let's do git branch. New, I'm gonna call it bus migration. And I'm gonna go git. If I do git, because right now we are not on the new branch that we created yet. No, we're on master. If I try to check out the bus migration branch, it's gonna check out bus migration. It's gonna give me a warning. God, I can't type today. Check out. Yeah. No, it could switch. I thought that it was gonna warn me that I had uncommitted changes, but it seems fine. So now we are on the branch. We're gonna commit to that branch. Let's do. I was taught by the comments from the last video that I should go git add p. Not sure what that does. Let's see. Or did it? Did I do that? Was it git commit p that I did before? Okay, either way, it's giving me the parts, the hunks. This seems fine. We've removed the new line. This looks like the thing I want. I'm stage that hunk. Stage this hunk. Does this? Yes, that is exactly what I want. This is a test that it passes from the return value from handler. That's what we want. This is another test that throws a nice error if no handler exists on topic. We want that one. Whoa, this was a big one. Okay, this is the refactoring of the commands installer. Yes, we want that. And this is the refactoring of the install tests, and we want that as well. Cool. What is this? Oh, we're still in that. It's just another hunk in that test. And this is also another hunk in this test. So it's going through, giving me parts and asking me if I want to commit certain ones. Yes. It's gonna go. Yes, that also looks good. And we're gonna commit this. Git commit. No, hang on. I can just do git commit. Because I have hooked up Visual Studio Code to be the editor of the commit messages. And this is going to be work in progress. Bus migration. You know, we can just I'm just gonna talk migrate command handlers to new bus. That's fine. Gonna close that. Close. Cool. And the commit is done. Now, since I'm working on a branch here, I can just push this. Git push. What if I do push now? Will it push that? Will it push master? Will it push the branch? Or do you have to specify the branch? No configured push destination. Either specify the URL from the command line or configure a remote repository using remote. I have done git push on this before. Is it just because I'm on a branch? Git remote. Yes. If I just do git push mpj. I use mpj instead of origin in case I have multiple origins, because at work we have like the team name as one remote and my own as one remote, and I guess I could call them personal and origin, but I just like the specificity. Okay, but I think it only pushed master now. I think I need to go git push mpj bus migration. Yeah, so there it created a new branch. That's the way I want it. Ah, really cold tea. That was some refactoring. Hope you enjoyed that, or hope you had some reaction, maybe some insight, or maybe you were just angry. Either way, write it down in the comments and I shall respond. You have just watched an episode of FunFunFunction. I release these every Monday morning, 0800 GMT. You should consider becoming a subscriber of this channel so that you don't miss it. If you are on the fence on the matter of whether or not to subscribe to FunFunFunction, please do check out this video or sample this video, which will help you make your decision. I am MPJ. Until next Monday morning, stay curious.